Greetings class, this is Dr. O'Rourke, and in this video, I'm putting together to give you some success tips to help you conduct a review of literature. So at this time, you should have a research topic and question, and you're about to go and do a review of literature. And if you're not too sure what I'm talking about, hopefully you know that this video was available to you to tell you the difference between reviewing literature and a literature review. So if you haven't done so, take a look at that video so you can understand before you watch this one. So in this video, I'm giving you some success tips and in regards to how to conduct a review of literature, going and finding those scholarly peer-reviewed articles. Now, I'm doing this because I want to prevent you from spending hours of frustration trying to find something that you're passionate about in a topic that you're interested in. I'd rather you spend several hours enjoy looking at things that you're passionate about and finding plenty of great scholarly articles that you can use for your assignment and potentially for your research thesis for this graduate program. So I'm going to go ahead and start by looking at the CBU library database. So here are some tips. And again, I just want to remind you, but go into a little bit more detail in the previous database search I shared with you. So here are the tricks and tips. Once you log into the CBU library and log in, you can't get all this information unless you log in. There's a general search you could do with the CBU library, but when you log in, you get access to all of this. So if you go to database, don't go to general, but go to database by subject. And then when you go, scroll down to your particular interest. For most of us in this class, it's kinesiology. However, you may, if you're interested, for example, in sports psychology, you might want to look at the databases in there. But I'm telling you, there's sports psychology in the kinesiology database. So I would go and start there first. And then what I would do is, here's your trick and your tip. Now, these are full text. It says that most of these come with full text, okay? Full text is what you need. It's that PDF that looks like this. And I'll give you an example. It's a PDF that you want to download and save on your computer if it's an article you know you're planning to use for your study. Now, what I want to show you is this, is if you go to SportDiscus full text, they have a lot of PDFs already there. Some of these are hit or miss, but this one really does a good job. Plus, it's, again, kinesiology related. But again, Medline, I mean, all these are great. So feel free to take a look at all of them, but I usually start with SportDiscus because it's very specific. Now, one of the big tricks of the trade too is that finding and using the right keywords. And that's so important because if you don't, this is where you're going to get a lot of hours and hours of frustration. Please try to narrow it down with the ands. So again, I was speaking with a student earlier, so we were looking at sports psychology, and you want to add as much as possible here. You can even, here's another trick, even add options. You can look for a specific title, or if you found an author that's doing many studies in your area of interest, you can actually look up the author and see what else comes up. Dr. Mark Anchel is a fantastic sports psychologist, so that student may want to look up Mark Anchel and put under author, so then that person's looking specifically at the author. But I'm going to leave it open because I'm not too sure what I'm going to get yet. So there's sports psychology. This person was interested in baseball. And then the other and I added in here was stress because we're looking at preventing stress, but we got to figure out. So I'm going to go ahead and do stress. I did a search, but I want you to give you the helpful tips. Look at how detailed I'm getting. This comes from your population. So when you're interested in a topic, that's fantastic. But if you really start thinking about, do you want to work with youth or elementary age children, or is it more college students or high school students, that will help narrow it down. Or in this case, a specific sport team such as baseball. But you could put, again, if it was interested in high school, I would put sports psychology in high school athletes, and then athletes right here or something. So again, it depends, but just notice how I'm using these keywords to help you narrow the search. Now, another thing I want to show you is once something comes up, remember I shared with you that it needs to be within the last 5 years. So what you want to do is, if you notice, if you go right here, it says publication date. This is where you want to narrow it down. And so I want to go and move this all the way down to, like, let's say the last 5 years. And so now it's going to update and show me the articles from 2014 to 2017. I'm surprised it should say 2018, but needless to say. So let's just say that I just did this for the last 3 years then. Let's see, let's get the most recent studies. Now, another thing I like about Sport Disc is, like I said, is they all usually come with PDFs. These are the ones you want to look at. So tip one is look at those first. And plus, another tip again is look for the most recent one. For example, this 2017 article, seeing if it relates to the topic of interest. Now, here's a 2014. This is fantastic. Look at this. But now you have all these articles, and you don't want to just take them all. You want to make sure it relates to the particular study you're interested in. So it's going to take some time for you to look through these. So don't expect this to just miraculously happen. You are going to have to put a couple hours into it. I'm just helping you to put those hours into joy and interest versus frustration. So another thing I want to share with you is these are ready to go. If this is the article you want, fantastic. You can click on this, open it up, and it has the full text. That's what it means. And so it has the whole article. Now, what I would suggest is let's just pretend that this is the article. Oh my goodness, this is perfect. And I want to keep it. Then I would go to download, and I would save it onto my computer. Now, you could see I was doing searches earlier for other students. And so what I did, and this is what I shared in my previous videos, is that rather than just leaving, if you see it, that the default is content server. That's not going to help me. So if you notice, for example, you can type in the author, which this is Gray. So it's Gray, Orn, and Woodman, 2017. So what I would do is put Gray. Actually, I just put Gray _ 2017. Whoops, excuse me. And so that tells me, and again, let's just pretend that this was a file folder specifically for sports psychology and baseball players. Now I know that I have this article here, and I would save it. And so I'm just going to save it just to show you. And now it's saved in my file, so I can use it for my literature review when I write it. But right now I'm just searching, and I'm doing a review of literature. See how I plug those two words in? Okay, so that's another tip. Now let's go back. And let's pretend that you found this perfect article for your study, but it's not in full text. Now you'll see that this is the easy way, but if it says linked to full text, you might want to click on that and look. So let's just say pretend that this is 2015, it fits our criteria. Let's say it fits the criteria of my study, and I want to go here and click link to full text. So that means that there's a possibility that this might show up, and it's taking its time. Now let's just say that it does pull up. It might show up a different way to download the PDF. For example, see how you had to go right here? It's a full text article, but you have to go and open it up in order to get the full text. So again, just another way, just a new trick to share with you. Now, let's pretend that you found the best article and it happens to not be at the CBU library database or anywhere in the library. What you could do, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to scroll down here, and please also another trick is it's not just the first page you should look at. You can go to the next several pages. So I found an article here. It does not meet our criteria, by the way, just letting you know, because it's from 1990, and we have to have it within the last 5 years. But I'm just using this as an example. So let's pretend that this is the ideal article that you want to use for your study to support for your literature review. So you click on it, you're so excited, and you notice there's no PDF. There's not even much information, it's just the abstract. This is not enough. You need to get the full text. Well, don't give up. What I'm going to ask you to do is, actually Weinberg's a great sports psychologist, by the way. What you could do is go to this. You'll see it says interlibrary loan. And what it'll do is it will, the library, the CBU library will actually order that article for you. They'll go and they have relationships with universities all across the world and country to get that article. And so therefore it'll take a couple days. But if you click on this, a lot of it's already auto-filled for you. You could see that the article's already auto-filled. And you just need to fill out basically your information here, your Lancer Mail, your CBU ID number, and so forth, and then click submit, and it's done. And what you'll do is you'll be able to order that particular article. They'll be in contact with you via email, and if they can't find it, they'll let you know. But for the most part, in a couple days or even a week, up to a week, they will send you via email the article. Very neat. Now, a word of warning. I'm sharing this trick and tip for you, the interlibrary loan, because I want you to know and be empowered of how to do that in case you choose to do a research thesis for your graduate work. Do not use the interlibrary loan for our class unless you don't need it for a couple weeks. For example, this week you have an annotated bibliography due. I don't want you emailing me and going, oh, I had 5 articles, but I had to do an interlibrary loan, so I can't submit. That's not going to work. What you need to do is you need to use only the ones that have the link to the full text or the PDFs for this class. I just wanted to give you the information about how to order an interlibrary loan article via interlibrary loan so that you have that tool in case you need it for your thesis or your research study after this class. So that was reward awareness. So again, all sorts of fun tips and tricks here. Now, another thing I want to share with you is another trick is looking at journals. Now, one thing I want to share with you is, for example, let's say this is the perfect article that you found. It's fantastic. It's everything you need. And it's exactly relates to your topic, your study topic and research question. So here are some tips. The keywords are the real big deal on how to find great scholarly articles within your study or within your interest. So here's a trick. Use these keywords right here. For example, athlete, performance, person-centered. These are approaches, well-being. These are based off of whatever the topic is. And you could use those keywords in your database search. And what I mean by that, just as a reference, is if you wanted to go back and do a search right here, you could use those keywords and plug them in. Now, another trick, lean in. You're going to love me for this. Again, let's pretend this is the ideal article for your study. I want you to go and scroll down all the way down to the end where it has the reference list. And here you go. Remember, our criteria is within the last 5 years. So this first one from the American Psychological Association Presidential Task Force is not good because it's from 2006. However, here's a 2017 article you might want to read and see if it actually relates to your study. And now you just found another article and you found another journal that you can look up, Journal of Sports Sciences. And so, but again, some of these articles may not relate to your topic, but so you have a nice list here of all sorts of different articles you can look for that might to cross-reference and go look for yourself. Fletcher and Sakar, 2017, mental fortitude training. And so another great new journal too. So you have a journal and a new journal and a journal article that you could use, Journal of Sports Psychology and Action. So let's say, so again, all sorts of good stuff here in the back. But remember, it needs to meet your criteria within the last 5 years and relate specifically to your topic. Now, let's say that you are interested in doing a journal. Let's say you found all sorts of scholarly articles in a particular journal. For example, let's say Journal of Sport and Exercise Psychology. So what you might want to do is go, you know what? I want to specifically look at that journal and see what else is there. So what you could do is go to Tools, Journals, A through Z, and you could actually put the title of it. Oops, need to spell it right. Journal of, I think it's Sport, and it comes up because I've done a search before. And then now you could click search, and now it'll pull up that specific journal. Now it goes into deeper, so basically click on this. Notice it says present from 1988 all the way to current. So I'm clicking on this and I'm going to look specifically at this journal. And this takes a lot more time. The database search is much faster because you're able to do keywords. Here you're just looking. So when I do this, I just look at the most recent year. And 2017, if you notice, there's multiple issues each year. So I'm going to look at the last one from 2017 December. And I'm just going to quickly do a quick search from that journal for that volume and that issue, and see if there's anything of interest at all. So again, I just wanted to show you that, that's a way to search for a specific journal. And then finally, I wanted to share one more thing in regards to finding keywords, because again, understanding the keywords on a database search is crucial. We talked about that last week about putting the wrong word in, and what it can cause a lot of frustration and find 0 results. And I don't want you to email me saying no one's done studies at all in this, when it's all actuality the fact that you just haven't done the correct database search using keywords. So you might want to look at the titles of the articles that you're finding. For example, this one may not be the best, but for example, pressure. It might be a keyword if you're looking at, exercise psychology and athletes and pressure. You might want to also look at some keywords in the introduction, maybe even some theories that might be of interest. And so you might just want to search this area and see, look, there's another keyword, mental toughness in elite athletes. That could be a good one. So again, I'm not going to spend too much time, but I'm giving you the idea or the suggestion of how to find keywords here. Sorry, that was an alarm. And then finally, I want to show you this. And again, this is not the same article, but I want to show you how to cite and pull from a journal article. And if you notice, this is not the same title, but you'll see that this is the Journal of Religion and Health, and this is the Journal of Exercise Psychology. Right here, this is the volume. So this is all how you can cite. 39 is the volume here. You have the page numbers, which is right here, 423 to 437. You have the title of the article, which is right here, and then you have your first author, and then second author, fourth author. And so again, these are the key things you need for an APA citation. And I just wanted to also give you a helpful tip, and I know it's going into this presentation a little bit long, but I'm telling you it's worth it, is when you look for, once you found the ideal article, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the ideal article. And what you want to do is you want to scroll down, and you'll notice that this is lined up to what your expectations are for this course. And that is your introduction, a review of literature, methods section. And so, but I want you to go to something that you're not going to do in this class and is going to help you build your study. After a study's done, they have to draw conclusions and do a discussion section. And I'm scrolling here because every article, APA style, has a discussion section. And the discussion that sounds funny, but discuss the limitations and the recommendations for further study. And that is key to know if there's any gaps or holes or any needs for a future study. So basically, this is the section you want to look for, and it'll tell you what the limitations are, things that need to consider. Maybe they didn't use the appropriate, they suggest or recommend a different type of equipment or something. So rather than going through this, since I just found this article, I want to show you one that I looked and reviewed already. And basically, I used Jing to identify a limitation in the study. And so I found 3 limitations in this study. And then I also found 2 future research recommendations as well. So this is found in your discussion section. And again, this is key to help you build rationale of why you should conduct your study. So in other words, if you're not finding articles within the last 5 years, that would be a reason that a study needs to be done. But the key thing is using keywords, because you might go, oh, there's nobody doing anything, but it's because you didn't do a proper search. So finding the keywords are crucial, and that's found through the journal articles and also different specific words that you put into the database search. So once you find those articles, you want to find out what the gaps are, what needs to be done in the future. And so there's the limitations that might go, okay, well, this was a limitation. So when I do my study, I'm going to make sure I control for this and that doesn't happen. Or the recommendations for future research. It was only done with males, and we recommend to do it with females or mixed methods or mixed gender. So again, or maybe it was done with mixed gender, but the results show that men are more susceptible, so a study with just men only. So again, this is where you would find, and this would be in your discussion section. And this will help support why you should be able to do a study of your own. I'm hoping this is helpful to you. There was lots of tips and tricks. Feel free to replay this and take notes, because this is going to be helpful to you. Save even this video of me talking, even for when you're ready to do your study and you take your last class, because this could, again, give you hours of frustration doing a database search versus having a blessing of and enjoy doing or basically conducting a review of literature. Because again, if you use the wrong words, the wrong database, anything like that, it'll cause a lot of frustration. But if you are so passionate about something and you find the right keywords, this will be a fantastic journey of finding what kind of studies and research has been done previously and get you excited about your own study. God bless you abundantly. If you have any questions, contact me. I encourage you meeting with me one-on-one, or if you want to meet in groups, I'd be happy to do that as well. And please be reminded that I have what we call required office hours. It's 2 days a week. Actually, it's 8 hours, and I could literally do it in 1 week or one day a week. But I'm just sharing that with you because you can schedule a time with me. Send me an email and say I'm only available, Wednesdays at 6 o'clock. Can we meet? I'd be happy to do that if it works with my schedule. So send me an email, give me specific dates and times, several of them, so it works with me as well, and we'll schedule something to talk one-on-one. God bless you abundantly and take care.